What's up, everybody? It's your favorite shaman, Sexy Shaman, host of the Soul Lab podcast, where we provide you high vibrations to elevate your mind, your body, and your soul today, because we ain't got time to elevate tomorrow. What are we talking about today? The US Pluto Return. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so astrology is big now, right? It's a new wave. Astrology is the new black, I think, We're reading all of these new astrology articles that are talking about where we are and global warming and all of this stuff that's happening in our world. And a lot of folks are basing it on this Pluto return. And so the planet Pluto has an orbit of 248 years. It's a very, very slow moving planet, okay? And it takes 248 years for Pluto to go from where it started back to that same place, around the zodiac and back, okay? And so if we look back 248 years, that was the year of 1774, okay? And it's just very, very interesting, the parallels here. So 2 years before the United States became the United States, right, in 1776 and Declaration of Independence and all of that good stuff, it was 1774. And we were on the precipice of change. Pluto is the planet that represents revolutionary change, okay? Disruption, destruction sometimes, because sometimes we are so stubborn that we have to get things actually taken away from us in order for us to grow and change. There are signs that are sent to us to say, hey, this person isn't meant for you. This job is not meant for you. It makes you feel like crap. You need to let it go. But it's so difficult for us to let go of things. And it takes a point where we hit rock bottom, where we hit that place, that point of no return, that allows us and pushes us really to grow and move. And that's the planet of Pluto. That's that Pluto energy, okay? It is really our energy to transform from a deep emotional level. It is the energy behind our hidden gifts, our unconscious patterns, and it's really where that fire, that internal power comes from that propels us towards the highest, brightest versions of ourselves. And a lot of times we find that power when we are in a bad place, It's not until your back is against the wall when you elevate and find the strength that you never knew you had, or you find that you were actually way more educated than you thought you were. Sometimes Pluto energy is truly like everything falls down. Your house burns down, you lose everything, only to move to that place that you always wanted to move and find that life that you've always been looking for. But you had to actually get that push, to do that. So we can look at this in a positive way, in the sense of Pluto pushes us to learn the lessons that we are meant to learn, and that we haven't learned yet. So we always get a chance to rise and let go of things. And a lot of times we measure our value with what we have, right? You have enough money, you have a better house, a nice car. What do you do? Do you have a partner? Ja, 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 right? And we measure ourselves by these standards that are taught to us. And when we don't meet those standards, we start looking at ourselves like we are less than, that we need to do something to meet this framework that only fits a certain amount of people. It's like kind of putting on somebody else's shoes and trying to walk in those shoes, and those may be too small for you, too big for you. But society's telling us we have to wear those shoes. And so we get this frustration on the inside that pulls us and forces us to elevate and let go of those old shoes, right? There's something that wakes up inside us that is revolutionary, that is rebellious, that says, hey, these shoes don't fit, and I don't even like these. You know what I'm saying? And so when we think about the planet of Pluto, we think about experiencing intensity, right? So in order to really understand where we are, let's look back 248 years ago. What happened in 1774? Well, there was a French and Indian War, right? That ended, and the British government was like, hey, since we had this war, we're going to tax you all of this money because we need more money. And how ironic, it sounds very familiar. Inflation, right? So think about this. 248 years ago, when Pluto was in the same place that it is today in 2022, Britain released these laws called the Intolerable Acts that basically started to put the colonies in a chokehold and said, hey, you are going to listen to me or I'm going to force you to. Okay. They closed the city, the harbor in Boston, and said, hey, we're going to shut down this harbor so you can't get anything in or out. You can't do any trading, anything like that until we get our money back from the tea you destroyed. That was the first act. Second act, y'all can't have any meetings without our approval. Y'all can't be having these closed door meetings where you guys decide to overthrow us or anything like that. We're going to watch every meeting that you have. You're no longer allowed to meet without us. More control, more power, more putting you in the chokehold and allowing you to stay in your place. Okay. You see the theme here? And then here's my favorite one in the sense of how it completely reflects where we are today in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement and, the police corruption and all of that exists right now. They released a law that said, if you're a British official and you commit a capital offense while you are on the job during law enforcement, then you actually have the right to go back to Britain for your trial. If you get prosecuted in the colonies, you can go to a different colony or you can go back to Britain and get your fate there. So it allowed for them to move to the right place to get the right decision, which was innocent, right? And so it reflects that same autonomy that our police have today. You can break into someone's house and shoot an innocent person, and it takes a year, 2 years for those police to get prosecuted for their crimes, and this is 248 years ago, y'all. This is not 2022 we're talking about. This is Britain, the big brother of the time, forcing the colonies to live a certain way so that they can still be in control, right? And so what happened? Well, we don't listen. So there was a secret meeting, right, in 1774, which was the First Continental Congress, right? This was them meeting in the secret session saying, hey, we have a plan to reconcile with the British government, but you know what? We're not. It's time for us to break towards our freedom. This was a meeting that they decided that they are going to be free from Big Brother, from Britain, from this chokehold that they're in. They actually have to break free from them in order to live the way that they wanted to live. Okay. And so instead of adopting a plan for reconciliation with Britain, they adopted a Declaration of Personal Rights: life, liberty, property, assembly, and trial by jury. Okay. And so it's just an interesting parallel that 248 years ago, we were in a place that says we are ready for a change, a revolutionary change. The way that things are going right now and the structures that we are defined in don't work. Fast forward 248 years to 2022. And here we are again on the precipice of change, right? We have COVID happen, just like the closing of the ports. Now, this wasn't done by the government, obviously. Well, that's what some people say, but we're not going to go there. But we were stuck in the house, right? We weren't allowed to travel. We weren't allowed to even see our families and hug them outside of our immediate family. And it was a time where, a lot of people got depressed and had anxiety and was really, really afraid of what was going to happen to them. We were in the same place in the sense of things starting to crumble that have been done the same way for years, thinking about work, right? All of us going into the office every single day, right? And some people traveling and commuting for hours and hours and spending more time on their commute and at work than they did with their family. And then feeling a disconnect from their children and their partners because of having to work to survive. And that framework crumbled. COVID actually provided us a new view on how we can actually work in this world. And that is Pluto energy, okay? It is destroying the old, everything that we know to let go in order to evolve and prepare for the future. When we think about the younger generation and the next generation and generations, we have to actually create a world that will allow them to thrive, to flourish. Going to a 9 to 5 and working 40 hours a week and all of that, that framework no longer supports our personal growth, our emotional security, what we need from life in order to actually be happy and whole. It's not money, it's not this job. It's not these material things that society has told us that these are the things that we have to have in order to be successful. You have to go to college, you have to have this job, and you have to do it until you're 75 and then you can retire. What? So the colonies were in the same boat as us. They were waking up from the tyranny that was upon them. They were waking up from the bullying that really was happening to them. And I think a lot of us feel the same way. There are many people in this country that don't vote because they don't feel like their voice is heard. They don't feel like it's fair. And a lot of people feel like, why try? We are in a situation where we are being taxed without being represented personally. How do we have homeless people on the street, but our military budget is billions? It doesn't make sense. And we're upon this time of transforming the foundation that a lot of us grew up on. A lot of us, had faith in, and it's failing us. Why is it that we go to college and we have $120,000 or more in debt, and then the first job that we get out of college is unwilling to pay us anything close to that? And now we have to have not only a 4-year college degree with the debt along with it, also experience for 3 to 5 years so that you can give us a salary that is worth it to survive in this world, in this country. It doesn't make sense. And so we're seeing the rise of the creatives. Putting the fist up. You can't see me, but I'm putting the fist up right now, baby. The creatives, there is a rise of creativity, individuality, and uniqueness. We are seeing social media boom. We are seeing remote work boom. We are seeing people stepping outside of the box and saying, hey, I no longer actually have to go into work every day to do my job. I would rather spend time with my family, make breakfast for my kids, have lunch with my partner, be able to cook my own lunch, have some peace, eliminate that excess stress that came into my life for doing things in a way that was not conducive to my mental health. We are on the precipice of change. We are in a current internal transformation where many of us are waking up to the things that we thought we wanted. We thought we wanted this life because we were told that we had to do things in this way. But we're realizing how unhappy that makes us. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I don't want to dread going into work every day. I don't want to feel like I hate my life. So we are taking back our lives, just like the colonies took back the United States. They took their country back in the sense of creating our own way of doing things. And we can say, hey, did that work? Whether or not it's right or wrong. But the principle of it all is what I'm talking about. The principle of personal freedoms, personal rights, and understanding that you have the ability to actually be whatever you want to be without following the framework that was set for us. We are realizing that that's actually not working for us. There are many people that did not go to college one day in their life and they are successful in their own talents, in their own creative gifts. And it is because they believed in themselves enough to rise to the occasion. They were presented with an opportunity and they took a risk on themselves. They took a chance on themselves and they had faith in their own abilities to rise, to be successful, to be whole, to get what they want, to be happy, you know, to manifest things, right? So we have this energy of Pluto. And again, remember, this is a very, very slow moving planet. So the energy is representative of a slow and gradual change where things sometimes get worse before they get better. You know, you think about a tropical storm that comes in to a place that, let's say, you couldn't grow any vegetables, it was just a dead zone. And the storm comes in and happens to just destroy everything in this area. But now there's vegetation. We're able to grow fruits and vegetables, and we can have animals there now. And there was destruction before, but it was for our highest good. So right now, there are a lot of breakups, you know? There are a lot of situationships that are breaking up because people are realizing that the relationship they're in actually doesn't serve their highest good. They are realizing how unhappy they really are and have been, and they are being forced to choose me or you. Do you choose yourself or do you choose this other person? And you realize in choosing that other person what you're giving up, which is you. So there are a lot of people, breaking up with their spouses and their partners and elevating because they are realizing that that person was the thing that was holding them back. That energy that they were giving to that person is actually energy they need to help themselves grow. In the corporate world, they're talking about this great resignation, right? And again, this is a time where people are learning their worth. They are saying, hey, I don't have to kill myself at a job to be successful. I can make TikTok videos and make YouTube videos and become an Amazon seller or whatever the case may be and actually make a living and do it on my own time. I can work remotely and travel to Hawaii and to all of these different places within the United States and still keep my job. I don't have to align to this old way of doing things. And that is just beautiful, I think. And so you have this great resignation, right? People are leaving their jobs to do those things they always wanted to do. Hey, I was really, had this passion for sewing when I was younger. And I realized, when I don't go into the office, I have way more time to knit and sew. And I'm actually really good at this. And I started making really creative things and posting some pictures online. And people are like, hey, are you selling that? And boom, they start going on their way to their personal business defined by their unique gifts, their own creativity, their own mind, and they're doing it in a way that society is not telling them to do. That is the Pluto return, elevating outside of the box, getting beyond the framework that they told us we had to follow to be successful. We know that it's not true because some of us followed that framework and they are waking up now and they're seeing, I'm not happy. I'm actually more unhappy now than I was when I was younger, or I hate going into work every day, or I'm just know that I'm worth more. I know that I have more to give, but I'm in a place that is giving me a glass ceiling effect. I can see where I want to go, but society is telling me that I have to have a 4-year degree and be $100,000 plus in debt in order to get to that place I want to be. But really, it's like, let's stop listening to society. you know? Um, some of the greatest people in the world are not the ones that follow the rules. They're the ones that create their own lane. They're the ones that establish themselves with their own creativity, with their unique gifts, with their own strength, their personal power, their presence, their faith in themselves, you know? Some people aren't even that talented. They're just so confident that they elevate to where they want to be because they believe that that is where they are meant to be. That's a vibe, you know? Belief is one of those things that is this intangible thing, right? We can't really touch it. We have to feel it. And you can fake belief, but the way that God works is in energy. So if you don't believe in yourself, you're going to get that same energy back. If I doubt myself, I'm going to get that doubt right back. If I put myself out there confidently, then that is the vibe I'm going to attract, right? And so in this case, it's not opposite attract. We want to put out high vibes so we can get high vibes back. When we put out low vibes, we get low vibes back. And it might not be immediate, but it always comes back around, you know? And so, how do we evolve? How do we elevate? How do we take advantage of this Plutonian energy that is pushing us to be different, pushing us to look within ourselves and find what we're really good at and grab onto that, right? And it comes first with thinking about what you really want in your life. What do you want? And how are you going to get there? I think many of us know that we are capable of so much more. We have this greatness, we have this fire inside us, and we hear this voice inside telling us, you can do better, you can do more. Put yourself out there, put your music out there, put your artwork out there, put your writing out there, whatever the case may be, right? But we overthink it because it doesn't fit in the framework of society. No one's done it before, so we don't know if it's possible. Well, that's the beauty of being unique and being a unique expression that God has made us, right? That's the amazing part, is that there is nobody else like you. Nobody can do it like you're doing it. And because of that, that makes us all a great little snowflake, right? And the more we can see all of those different snowflakes, it actually gives people permission to be themselves, to be unique. When we see more people dressing how they want to dress and being who they want to be and stepping out and saying, this is who I am and I'm proud of that, it actually sends a vibration out to those who doubt themselves and are holding back from being that version of them that they feel inside. It gives them permission to say, hey, it's okay to be you. So we have to be the best version of us by being fully us. Is the person that you're with representative of what you want? Is this relationship representing a wholeness within you? Or is it tearing you down? Is it holding you back? Are you in a situation where you feel like you have to give part of yourself to someone else in order to make that other person happy? These are the things that are going to continue to come up for us during this time. This destruction of our old boundaries, our old way of thinking, okay? We've been thinking the same way for 248 years. I mean, 1774, we were still trying to protect the people. We were dealing with a government that was limiting us, limiting our growth as a people. And here we are again, 248 years later, still feeling limited, still getting our checks taxed, and not being able to have a say of where that money goes. Why is it that we have so many homeless people and so many people struggling to eat and just have housing and just have clean water, where we have a military budget of billions? How is that okay? How do we have a group of people that are considered the 1% and control a lot of our country? How is that okay? Why do we not get a say in our lives? Well, we do. We do. And that's what this Pluto energy is telling us. It's saying, even though it looks grim and even though no one has done it before, use your abilities, your strength, your gifts, and do it fully. And I promise you, you will be blessed. I promise you, you will be blessed with the energy of opportunities and doors opening for you because you are uniquely you. That's the energy that we want to align to. That's the vibe that Pluto is bringing for us in these subtle ways. Okay. God is speaking through us every single day in ways that we don't even understand. We cannot even fathom, But every time we wake up and we see that sunshine, it reminds us that we have this universal love and support that heats up our world and lets us know, I got you. So since we have this universal support and love, that means that we can step out on faith and know that even if we fail, we are still moving in the right direction. As long as we're moving, As long as we are aligned to who we are and we're not moving in a direction that society is telling us to, we're not aligning to a vibe that is just cool or what's in or what other people are doing. And we realize when we align to what other people are doing or what society tells us what to do, we fail. We feel empty inside. We feel less than. We feel disconnected from our spirit, which says, hey, pay attention to me. I'm giving you all the signs of the things that you actually need to do to be really, really happy. And it's coming through our connection with each other. It's coming through our community, our creative expression. The rise of NFTs. We're literally creating money. We are creating bartering again. We are taking back our country and creating the democracy that our colonial Americans strive to create 248 years ago when they said, hey, we're going to break away from this tyranny and we are going to step out on our faith that we are worth more. We can do this on our own. And we can just take that little microcosm, a really big microcosm, as our influence to move toward our goals, to move toward our dreams, and do it in a way of strength and do it with power and vitality, and know that financial freedom, independence, self-reliance, that is all achievable if we are true to ourselves and we have faith in ourselves and our spirit and our energy. And if we don't have faith, we ask for the strength, we ask for guidance, and we ask for the universe to show us the way. Until next time.
Leave your expectations at the door.